A few months ago, President Trump at a press conference held up a postcard. He said that filling out tax returns would be that simple. We have a new tax law which goes into effect this year. Guru, will people really be able to file their taxes on a postcard?
Let me start by saying accountants and tax attorneys are not going to be unemployed anytime soon. Although it was a great photo op that showed the president holding up a postcard and saying this is how you're going to be able to file your taxes under the new tax code, that is actually not going to be reality. And to begin with, most people file their tax returns electronically, so postcards won't even exist in this process. Only about 9% of people can file their tax returns on paper now. 91% is electronic. So why is this not the case? Why aren't we going to be able to truly file on postcard-size tax returns? Although there was an elimination of many of the itemized deductions and the standard deduction was doubled so that more people would fall into what we would consider simplification, you still have things like the mortgage deduction, the $10,000 in state and local taxes, charitable deductions, medical expenses, and there's other areas that remain in place that keep tax preparation pretty complicated, and in some cases it's more complicated than it was before. One area where a promise was made but not kept was with the alternative minimum tax. It was eliminated with corporations but not with individuals. So although the levels have been raised so that less people would fall into the quote-unquote AMT, a calculation is still required to figure out whether it applies. And that prospect right there complicates complicates the filing process, rather. You also have high-income states, King, that are looking for alternative ways to try to keep those deductions for state and local income taxes in place. I don't know if they're going to be successful, but they're working on possible solutions. And one way is that taxpayers could be making charitable contributions to the government instead of making payments on real estate taxes. I'm not so sure that's going to work, but if it does work and the states are going to try to implement that is going to complicate things. And this may be a slight step towards tax simplification, but we're never truly going to get there. And the reason is simple, is that Congress does so much horse trading in this process. It pretty much muddies the water, and they just can't agree on something like simplification. So everybody wants their piece of the pie. And let's not forget, too, King, that the tax code is used to motivate people to get them to do certain things, like providing tax incentives or tax disincentives. So it's always going to be somewhat complicated, and in the end, the postcard thing, not happening for the vast majority of Americans.